We're going to begin our functions chapter by teaching you how to make a basic pounds to kilograms converter using a custom function. We're going to call it equals k grams. So it's a kilogram converter. So there's an old adage, 2¼ pounds of jam weighs about a kilogram. However, the easiest way to convert this is actually to just multiply whatever the pounds are by 0.453592. So we're going to take that route. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you in VBA how we can make our first function. So let's get started. Alt F11. I'm going to create a new module here. And instead of saying sub for a sub procedure, we're going to create a function. And so I'm just going to begin by saying function, and then space, and then I'm going to give it a name. So we're going to call this k grams. And then in my brackets, this is where you can choose to put any variables that you're going to enter in this. So these are called parameters. These are things that will go into the formula. So in any function, typically, unless it's equals time or equals date in a worksheet, you have to put things that go inside the parameter. So maybe the range that you want to sum, you have to select that range or type it in. Whatever parameters you want. So you can put as many as you want in here, really. So in this case, we're only going to have one parameter, and that's the pound. So I'll just put LBS, and I'll close it up. I could put as integer or as variant. You can declare that right here. But I'm just going to say LBS and end my parentheses and hit enter. So whatever I accept into the formula is going to be now called LBS in my VBA. So even if I type in a number here, or I say equals kilograms, k grams, and then I point the equals to this cell where I type the number 1, that number is now going to be LBS as a variable. So it's received that value and it's put it in the first slot. If I had several parameters or variables in here, I could separate them by commas, and whatever order they are in the formula, that's the order that they would take on these different variable names. This is a one variable show here. This is very simple. So we're going to say LBS so this one's pretty simple. At the very end of all your formulas, you always end it with the actual name of the function, and you say that final result is going to equals, and then whatever it is that you've done throughout your custom formula. This one's a one-liner because k grams, the final answer that's going to be put into the cell or in your VBA, k grams equals the variable LBS times 0.453592. I just pasted there. So if I click away, so the final answer is actually within the one line of code. Let's put a stop marker right here on the gray area, and let's go ahead and put this into a cell. Equals k grams, and I'm going to use whatever's to the left, and if I hit enter, it's going to, it says 0, but that's because we're mid macro. So if we look over the k grams is empty here, LBS is 1, which is this cell over here, and we're going to multiply that times the formula and hit F8. So k grams is equal to 0.45 blah blah blah, and when I hit end function by hitting F8, it actually puts that in the cell. So we've just created our first function. Let's copy this down right here and release, and now it's actually going to run several times before it plants all those in the worksheet. So you have to be careful about doing these certain functions if you're going to plant them into a worksheet, because if you're debugging, sometimes it'll trigger, a worksheet change will trigger all of these and you'll have to loop through them, or you can simply go to debug and click on step out, and then you won't have to loop through all these billions of cells. But typically I like to use functions within my VBA code. I don't like to put them on worksheets so much for reasons like that. Anyway, that's how we did the kgrams function. So in the next video, we're going to teach you how to put a parameter, an extra parameter on there that is optional.